Welcome to Everything Fear. Today we're going to be doing a double bill Shudder review. Welcome to Everything Fear, your one-stop shop for all things horror. I'm Kit Tinsley. I'm a horror author, film academic and general horror geek. As I say, today I'm going to be doing a double bill review of two movies currently available to stream on Shudder. Both of these are available here on Shudder in the UK, and hopefully they're also available in the rest of the world, as you seem to have a better selection than we do. First up, we have The Banishing. This movie is directed by Christopher Smith, who has a pretty long history within the horror genre, having previously made such great films as Triangle, Creep, not the Mark Duplass one, the one set on the London Underground, as well as the movies Black Death and Severance. In The Banishing, he brings us a period haunted house tale that's loosely inspired by the events at Borley Rectory, known as the most haunted house in England for some time. In the movie, a young woman marries a vicar and along with her daughter moves into an imposing manor as he takes up his new post. As the daughter begins to behave strangely, the mother starts to see and hear things within the house, and her husband starts to become increasingly unpleasant. A stranger appears who tells them about the dark history of the mansion and the recent cover-up by the church. Together they must try and solve the strange happenings within the mansion. So what did I like about this movie? Firstly, it looks great, and the 1930s setting gave it an added layer of creepiness. The costume and set design are all really good in this movie. The mansion looks really unsettling in every scene. The acting is great all round, but in particular from the always amazing Sean Harris. Here he's playing a less villainous role than usual, but his character still manages to be sinister and mysterious. There's a wildness and an edge to his character of a flamboyant occultist. Also great is Jessica Finley Brown, who plays the lead character. However, with it being set in the 1930s, the costume design and the haircut, she will always be Lady Sybil from Downton Abbey. Christopher Smith's direction here is really good, with much more emphasis on atmosphere and tension building than in some of his previous movies, which were more visceral. What didn't I like about this movie? Well, it was in many ways too slow burn. There are long sections of the film where really nothing is happening. These didn't build tension and became a little boring after a while. The ending also felt kind of anticlimactic. There was too much build-up for what really wasn't that exciting of an ending. On the whole, a wonderfully designed, acted and shot period haunted house tale that unfortunately didn't quite have a good enough story to hold all of these pieces together. If you enjoy this video, if you could please subscribe, give us a like and maybe tickle that bell icon to be notified when we upload future content, that would be great, thank you. Next up we have a movie called The Power. The Power is the feature debut of writer-director Karina Faith, set in London during the 3-day week and blackouts of 1974. For those that don't know, during this period, the power in the UK was being turned off overnight 4 days a week. This was to conserve energy during strikes and union action. The film follows a young trainee nurse, Val, played by Rose Williams. She is a former local orphan who's come back to try and do some good in the area she's from. During her first day, she falls foul of the matron, who forces her to work the overnight shift. The only wards working during the blackouts are the antenatal wards and the intensive care wards. These are being powered by generators. The rest of the hospital is in complete darkness. As the night goes on, Val begins to experience things. Is there a dark force within the hospital? Or is Val losing her grip on sanity due to a childhood trauma? What did I like about this movie? This movie also looked really, really great. It has that really bleak look of 70s urban Britain. The hospital setting is a creepy labyrinth of long dark tunnels. I actually used to work in a hospital myself, and I can attest that they are incredibly creepy places when they're deserted late at night, especially down in the basements where all the heating pipes and everything come through, and you can hear babies crying and people screaming from all different parts of the hospital echoing around in the basement. It wasn't a very fun experience. The cinematography is really good, and combined with the production design, it gives this film a really creepy and unsettling tone. It reminds me a lot of British horror films made in the period that it's set, so that's really good. The acting in this movie is all really good, particularly from Rose Williams in the lead. As Val, she has to go through a hell of a lot of emotional states within this movie. Without giving too much of the plot away, the film does deal with the horror of child sexual abuse. It does this, though, in a very thoughtful way. The title, The Power, works on 3 levels. Firstly, the literal electricity that is in short supply. Secondly, the supernatural power that exists within the hospital. And thirdly, the power that abusers take from their victims and that the victims must regain. What didn't I like? Not a lot, to be honest. For me, this was a near perfect horror movie. I will say, though, that it is very slow burn, and you have to be in the right mood for that kind of horror movie. Because if you aren't in the mood for a slow burn horror movie, it might seem a little too slow. So, in conclusion, a wonderful and atmospheric horror movie with great cinematography, production design and acting, set in an always creepy setting of a hospital and during an interesting period in British history. Well, thank you very much for joining me. If you've seen either movie, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And until next time, stay scared and stay tuned.